Oh hey, welcome back to the DM's Craft. I'm DM Scotty. Good to see you here again. What I have planned for today on episode 3 is a tile that I'm making for a adventure of mine. The player characters are trying to infiltrate an ogre stronghold, and it's an old dwarven fortress that the ogres have taken over. And there's an area with prisoners in it, the players will have an option of climbing through the sewer to make a sneak attack. And so I was going to create that area and show you how I did it today. So we'll get right to it. Okay, so I've already drawn out my room. This is a standard figure, so you can see that this is a pretty big room. I've pre-cut my square. Now, if you notice, I have 2 square rooms. These are not 2 different rooms. These are going to be the same room. So what I've got here is I've got a tile that I've drawn some lines on, and I've filled that in. What I'm going to do is cut this out, and then these 4 pieces are going to glue onto this. So this part you'll see through these pieces onto the bottom tile, and in the center there is where the drain's going to be. So basically the cages will be in the corners, and all the excrement and all that stuff will drain off into the sewer and out of the fortress. So unfortunately the characters will have to climb through that sludge, so that won't be fun. And as you can see, I've cut the wall strips so I can put those on the wall here, and I'll glue that on last. Now you'll notice too, something I didn't mention before is these wall strips are fairly thin, so when you cut them you want to go against the corrugation of cardboard. So you can see there that the corrugation, and if you cut it along with the corrugation it won't have as much strength, but if you cut it with it, these little strips will be very strong and they won't crunch up or rip up. So that's something you definitely want to do when you cut your strips. And so what we'll do now is I'll cut this piece out and then I'll show you how they fit together. Okay, now that I've cut these pieces out, you can see a little better how they go together. See, these are just the top layer, and I cut out that so it makes these channels where the waste can flow, and that'll be the hole where the players come through, and then all the excrement and nasty stuff would go down the sewer. So I just cut these pieces out. I cut the piece out that I had drawn on there, so then I got these all ready. So now what I'll do is I'll glue these on, and I'll glue the walls on, and we'll progress from there. Alright, I've got all the elements glued on this tile. As you can see, I've got the walls going around, and we did that on the first video, so you can learn how to do that. I've got a door here. That's where the entrance and exit. That's where the sewer will be. And I've glued a piece of cardstock on the bottom there, so that covers that hole up. Now you also notice something different on this tile that I didn't show in the first video, is I have interior walls. So these interior walls are going to be where the cells, so these will be cells, and I'm going to have some bars going across, and I'll show you how to do that later. But that's how you do interior walls. Just do them the same as you would the exterior wall. Just use the same stock and cut it to the length you need, and you'll be all set. So now I wanted to show you how I'm going to add the sludge and waste that goes into this drain with my glue gun. So here I brought it in close so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just taking the glue gun and I've warmed it up, and I'll pull the stand back so it's a little easier to do. And I'm just going to start squirting glue into the channel and then just moving back and forth quickly. And that will add some texture to that channel. It's kind of like what I did with the cave to add texture to the rock. It's just going to add some texture to the look like sludge that's going down there. So we'll just finish up the entire channel and then we'll be done. And here's a little bit closer what it looks like, so you can see the detail. So yeah, so there you go. And that'll add a nice texture to that channel. So as you can see, we've done the texture painting on the tile. So it looks really good, but now we're going to do some details to make it pop. Like I've discussed in the other videos, we're going to do some dry brushing, dry brush the edges. So I'm just going to use some, take my chiseled brush and get some paint on there, not too much. And then we'll start picking out the edges and see how that pops out. And I'm getting a little bit in the channel, but don't worry about that now, because we'll take care of that. So keep picking out the edges. And we'll finish this up and we'll move on to the next step. So now you can see I've picked out the edges, so you can see those edges really pop out. So now we're going to do the shading. So basically it's the wet technique. So we're going to get some water on our brush, get the paint pretty thin, and then run around the edges. So that pops out. Now you see that start to pop out. I'm going to color that center in there pretty dark. So I'm going to continue to pick out the edges, and I'm going to color the channel in too, and then we'll move on to the next step. So now I've got the edges picked out. You can see how those walls really pop out now. So what I'm going to do is, I had colored the center square here, but I'm going to color the rest of the channel, and I'm going to keep it very wet. So kind of the same thing. So here I'll start to color this channel in. And you can see it's still pretty wet. Let's fill that in. And I'll do the rest, and we'll come back for the next step. See, it's very wet. Okay, as you can see, I've colored the base black in there, but now I'm going to add some brown, because this is supposed to be a like where all the excrement and waste from the cells goes. So I'll give that a dark brown, and I'll fill that in. Don't fill in that middle hole, but just the channels. Now while it's still wet, I'm going to use a lighter brown. And just add that. So it gives it a variation of tone. And I've got an even lighter brown, which I add a little bit of. So then that really starts to pop out. And so we'll finish that up and then we'll move on. Okay, you can see we got the whole tile going here. We've got the channels painted with the nastiness. Put a little bit of brown on each of these cells. This isn't a cell, so these walls here will complete the cells. And I left the whole black, so that looks like it's going underneath this board section that the players will crawl out of. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll show you a great embellishment to do to these channels here that'll really make them stand out. And we'll come back with that. Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of channels painted in, and the tile's looking really good. But there's one last technique that we can do. that'll make it even more interesting. The channels have the excrement and waste and sewage and stuff in them. So when the paint dries, it will look flat. It won't look very wet. So what we can do is use some water-based gloss. And this is just, what I like about the water-based is it's easy water cleanup. You don't have to worry about all the chemicals and mineral spirits and stuff. So we'll just pop that open and we'll paint in the channels. So I'll get a plate to put that on. And just pop that open. So I got that. So then I'll just dab it on. And be careful, you want to just get it in the channel. You don't want to get it anywhere else. And this will be nice in making the channel look wet. So it'll add that extra just bit of realism. You can do this with any kind of technique or with any tile that you have some kind of liquid on. And it works really well. And like I say, the water-based is nice because you don't have to worry about the harsh chemicals to clean up afterwards. You just use soap and water to clean this brush off and you'll be good to go for the next time. And this jar will last you forever because you're not painting that much, so you'll have this forever. So one jar is really all you need. So we just about got it done here. And once we have that done, we'll let it dry. Now, there's one thing we haven't talked about, and that's kind of like we have the cells here. I'll move this. We have the cells here, but no doors. And then we have this exit here with no door either. So there are several options that you can do to fill those in, and for the next video we'll detail that. And that's it. That's your prison tile. So we're all set, and like I say, next time we'll detail how to do the cage bars and the door coming into the room. So we'll see you next time on the DM's Craft. DM Scotty signing off.